Hey romance readers, welcome back to AdoreR. How's everyone doing today? I hope you had a great week. I didn't get to post anything during the week, so I'm going to post it today. And I'm going to do, hopefully I'll be able to do 3 videos today, back to back to back. So if, I don't want you saying, well, didn't she have those clothes on yesterday? It's going to be 3 videos that I'm going to try to post today. So hopefully I can get that done. The first video is going to be on my recommendations for today. And then the second video is going to be on my TBR for August, because I'm finally finishing up that TBR I started in May, and it lasted all the way to July. Yeah, I'm finally finishing it up this month. I got one more book I need to read off that TBR that I started in May. So I'm going to do the new TBR for August, and then I'm going to finish it off with the last video with a book haul, because I went out of town last week. And on my way back into Nashville, I stopped at a bookstore, of course, McKay's used books, and I purchased a couple of books there, and I'm going to go through those with y'all. So like I said, on this first video, I'm just going to go over the 2 books I read off my TBR, and I'm going to show you the next book I'm going to be reading from that TBR that I started in May. And then I'm also going to do some recommendations. Like I said, most of these recommendations that I'm going to do from now on mostly are going to be like older books, because I think I mentioned in my other video that I got my box over here, my keeper box. So I'm just going to go through this whole box and recommend all these books I have in this box on different videos. So I haven't finished this box up yet, so we're still doing older books. And I'm also going to recommend another book that I mentioned that I've been reading, Vi Keeland and Penelope. I forgot what her name is, but I wanted to read some books by Vi Keeland. Let me see what I'm gonna find out what I read she was writing with another author. Her name was Penelope. I forgot what her last name is, but I remember Vi Keeland because I said I wanted to read a book by each of those authors, but I have been reading a book by Vi Keeland. Well, I finished it, and it's called Egomaniac. I'm gonna recommend that by Vi Keeland. Excellent book. I really enjoyed it. If you haven't read it, you need to check it out. She's becoming one of my favorite authors now. I really like her writing style. I really enjoyed her this book, Egomaniac. Let me see, can I read you a little synopsis of that right quick? Hopefully I can. The night I met Drew Dagger, he just broken into my new Park Avenue office. I dialed 911 before proceeding to attack him with my fancy new Car Magna skills. He quickly restrained me, then chuckled, finding my attempted assault amusing. Of course, my intruder had to be arrogant. Only turned out he wasn't an intruder at all. So he wasn't an intruder. Drew owned the building. They don't even say her name on here. What is her name? I can't think of the character's name. I hate when they don't mention the female character's name. But anyway, she got scammed because he came from out of town. Drew came back from out of town, and he's getting his building redone. I think he owned the whole building because he is a divorce lawyer. He's getting his building redone, and he hears some noise downstairs. That's where his office. He got his office downstairs, and he live upstairs. And he goes down there, and he see this lady in there. They don't even say her name. And I downloaded it on my, I think it was was it a free read? I can't remember. But I downloaded it and I read it, and I really enjoyed it. So I don't even think I still have it on my Kindle, because I'm going to order the actual book. Well, I'm going to get my sister to order me the actual book for my birthday. My birthday is this month in August, people. So I'm going to get her to order that book for me for my birthday. So anyway, Drew sees her in there, and she's going off like, what are you doing in my office? She thinks he's a burglar, but come to find out that she's been scammed because somebody, I guess they saw this building being built, so they went in there and started selling an office and sold it to her for, I think she made a down payment of $10,000. I'm not making a down payment on no offer of $10,000. I need to go check you out upside down, sideways, every which way. Check out your references, because she got scammed. And so Drew tried to help her out, and then he tell her she can stay in the office because his secretary is gone, and he said, you can stay here in my and help me out until my secretary comes. But she also, and he said she can also do her business there because he's a divorce lawyer and she's like a counselor he counsels marriages. So it's a great dynamic going on there because he's the divorce lawyer and she's like trying to help people stay together, keep their marriages together. So I really enjoyed it. So if you haven't read Egomaniac, I highly recommend it. By VI Keeland. It's a excellent book. Check it out, and check out some of her other books too. I like her writing style, and if you have read her, let me know what you thought about it. Do you like her writing style? Have you been enjoying her books? And I want to check out the second author that she writes with. Let me see, can I find that right quick? Maybe it's in here. Let me see, can I find it? What the other author's name is. I know I should have this stuff together before. Oh, her name is Penelope Ward. I'm going to check out some. I haven't checked out any of her books yet, but I'm going to check out Penelope Ward too. Check out some of her books next. And that's the only new book I have. All the rest of them going to be older books. But I did finish this. This was on my TBR. Well, this is a newer book, but I don't know if you want to read it because the book was okay. This is the third book in the Devil Rock novel series by Sophia Jordan. I'm sorry, Sophia Jordan. And this was Fury on Fire. I had high hopes for this. It was okay for me. I was just expecting more. It looked like she just rushed this book out to get it out because I wanted more dynamic between the two characters. The characters are North Callahan and what is her name here? Faith. Do they even say her last name? They just said Faith. So she moves in next door to him. He just got out of jail. I think I mentioned in my last video that, like I said, he's the brother to the guy in the first book of this series, which was called All Chained Up. So I really liked the first book. I didn't like the second book. The second book was on their friend who was from the same prison they were in. And that book was called Hell Break Loose. I didn't like the second book. And so I wanted to read the third book about the guy from the first book, brother, whose name is North Callahan. And I had high expectation. I really wanted to love this book, but I didn't because they didn't have no, I wanted more from the two main characters. I wanted them to like get to know each other, but they didn't even get to know each other. They would, well, not really. They never went out on a date or anything. They were like texting back and forth or whatever, and it just wasn't enough for me. I didn't feel the chemistry between them because they never did actually get to know each other. And then like her brother's a cop, her dad was a cop, and you know, when they found out that she was living next door to North, of course they didn't like it, but I wanted more dynamics with if they had actually started going together, because they never did start going together. If they had actually start going together, what would how would that work out between her dad and her brother? They didn't give any of that. It just was, it wasn't enough for me. So it had some parts in there that I like, but I don't know if I'm going to keep this or not. I haven't decided yet because it's the last book. I don't know if I want to keep it. Plus I like the cover. So I don't know. I'm just going to say it was okay. I'll just give it 3 stars. Because, and then at the end they do end up together, of course, you know they do. But I was like, well, what happened with your dad and your brother? What happened there? And they never did show at the end. They didn't say anything about the brother or the dad. I'm not going any further because I was just highly disappointed. And that was Fury on Fire, Sophia Jordan. I don't know if I'm going to keep this or get rid of it. I don't know on this one because I really wanted to love it and I didn't. It was okay. Next I had on my list is Marguerite Kay, The Soldier's Dark Secret. This was a good book. It was good. I don't think I'm going to keep it though. It was okay. It was just, if you just like a tender love story, this would be for you. It's Marguerite Kay, The Soldier's Dark Secret. And this was about Jack Tristan and Celise Solis Marmon. She's part French, and he's come back from the war, and he's having problems adjusting back from the war because something happened, a tragedy happened that really affecting him, and so he's having a problem with that. And Solis is trying to find out because when she was younger, she felt like her mother didn't love her because her mom put her in a school, and she mostly grew up at school. And then she finds out that her mother committed suicide, and now she want to find out why. And so she having her own little thing going on, and she come to England to paint because she's an artist, and she paint like gardens and stuff, you know. Over in England, they had the big garden. Then his Tristan, what is his name, Jack, brother hires her to come and paint their garden, and that's where she meets Jack at. And they get to talking, and she tell him about her mom, and he decided to help her out to find out more what was going on there with her mother and stuff like that. And she kind of helps him too with his issues and stuff, because he finally break down and talk about what's going on, and that helps him out. So it was a good little love story. If you like those kind of you know, just a nice little love story. Wasn't a lot of if you don't like a lot of sex and stuff in your novels, this will be one for you, because it didn't have, it's just like a slow burn love story. It was a nice little story, but I don't think I would want to read it again. It just was just a nice little story, love story. And it's Marguerite K, The Soldier's Dark Secret. And last I had on my TBR from May was An Extraordinary Union by Alyssa Cole. I will be reading this next. This will be the last book on my TBR that I had started from May. So I'm going to read this next, and I'll let you know. I got high hope for this one too, people. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that it will be better than Fury on Fire. I hope so. So this is my next book that I'm going to read for my TBR. And so let's get started on my recommendations for today. I know I done ran out talking a lot, so I'm just going to do a couple of these that I want to recommend. The first up is Dear John by Lynn Ellis. It's an older book, like I said, and this was published in 1994. And I'll read you a little bit of this. When Jenny Teal wrote to Captain John Brathwaite, it was her good deed to the brave fighting men overseas. John's letter, intimate, sexy, loving, made her realize she'd found her soulmate. But Jenny didn't consider herself the kind of woman a man of action like Mike could ever love, so she refused to tell him her name. Still, their letters grew even more revealing and passionate, but it was only a fantasy, Jenny assured herself. Then John came home, determined to find the woman behind the words. If you haven't read this already, you need to check it out. Excellent book. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the letters that she was writing to him. It's a great book. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. Dear John by Lynn Ellis. And it's a Harlequin Temptation. Next I have a Linda Howard book. It's a Silhouette Special Edition, The Cutting Edge. And this was published in 1985. I'll read a little bit of this. Britt Rutland was Carter Engineering Top's troubleshooter, so it was only logical for him to be sent to the LA office to crack a case of embezzlement. Brent was a hard man. He had to be in his line of work, so it hit him like a sledgehammer when he fell in love with Tessa Conway. Half the men in the office had been in love with her for years, but Brent was the first she loved in return. Their love was perfect, too perfect to last. One day Brent found the embezzler, and on that day their world came crashing down. I don't need to tell you, Linda Howard is an excellent writer, so if you haven't read this, you need to check it out. It's The Cutting Edge, Silhouette Special Edition by Linda Howard. Next up, I have a Joe Goodman, a historical, A Season to Be Sinful. I really like this one. I think I might put this on my TBR to be a reread. And I'll read a little bit of this one. Alexander Graham, Viscount Sheraton, is stunned to find 3 young boys at his door demanding he right the wrong of an incident that occurred earlier that evening when he thought a determined thief. When he discovers his wily pickpocket is a woman, now gravely injured, he takes his flame-haired attacker under his wing. Clearly, Sheraton's new guest is a lady of quality. So how did she become a common thief, a common street thief? He finds himself irresistibly drawn to the clever, cheeky Lily and determined to unlock her mysteries. So if you haven't read Joe Goodman, A Season to be Sinful, you need to check it out. It's a historical. I highly, highly recommend it. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm going to put it on my TBR again for August as a reread. Next I have Cheryl St John. I really, really enjoy her books. She's a very, very emotional writer. I think you, if any of you like those kind of books that have a lot that kind of like a tearjerker, I highly recommend her. This is Heaven Can Wait, and this is a Harlequin Historical. I'll read you a little bit of this. In her secret heart, sheltered Lydia Becker yearned for more, a sea of sensation, a husband to be tender with. Surely such longing couldn't be wrong. And then came Jacob Neubauer, an outsider who promised her a word of passion. One simple dream sustained Jacob, to work his land and build a life with the perfect woman at his side. Lydia Becker, unaffected and so serenely beautiful, seemed the embodiment of his every desire. But will he prove himself a man worthy of such a precious gift? If any of you haven't read Cheryl St John, you need to find some of her books. She's an excellent, excellent writer. I highly, highly recommend her writing. And this book is called Heaven Can Wait. And next I have a book by Iris Johansen, Lion's Bride. This is a historical also. And I'll read you a little bit of this. A darkly handsome warrior found her in the hot desert night, the last survivor of a caravan devastated by a brutal attack. But Thea could hardly have found a less likely savior. Brooding, powerful, boldly erotic, the infamous Lord Ware felt no need to rescue a total stranger. But Thea's striking beauty and fighting spirit moved him. So the knight in tarnished armor carried her away to his secret stronghold at Dundragon, where she would become his prisoner, his tormentor, his lover, and the one woman his deadly enemy could use to destroy him. And that's Iris Johansen, Lion's Bride. And last but not least, I have on the list here for that I'm going to recommend is Sabrina Jeffries, The Forbidden Lord. And let me read a little bit of this. Jordan Willis, the Earl of Blackmore, has played with the heart of many a society belle. Yet one stolen kiss impulsively planted on the soft, irresistible lips of the preacher's daughter proved his undoing. The prim and proper Emily Fairchild, innocent response, sends his desire surging through the notorious rape, and he can't forget her. Now meeting Lady Emma Campbell, an outrageously flirtatious debutante, leaves the Earl more shaken than ever, for the blazing beauty is an uncanny double of the sweet Emily. And this is The Forbidden Lord by Sabrina Jeffries. So if you haven't read this one, check it out. I highly, highly recommend it. And this was published in 1999. And let me see when the Lion's Bride was published in 1996. So if you haven't read any of those, check those out. I highly, highly recommend them. I really, really enjoyed them. Those are some of my favorite. Like I said, from my box I have, my keeper box that I have here. Sorry about that. My camera went out, of course. But I was going to say, that's it. That's all that I have for today. And if you've read any of these, let me know. The first book was Joe Goodman, A Season to be Sinful. Linda Howard's A Cutting Edge. Dear John, Lynn Ellis. Iris Johansen, Lion's Bride. Sabrina Jeffries, The Forbidden Lord. And Cheryl St John, Heaven Can Wait. If any of you read those and you really enjoyed them, let me know. I highly, highly recommend those books. I really, like I said, those are my keepers. And I will be doing 2 more videos today. So keep reading those romances, and I'll see you in a little bit. Bye.